Hey everybody, this is a clip from my podcast with Nir Eyal, who is a two-time best-selling author of both Hooked and Indistractable. And in our podcast, we dove deep into all of his productivity hacks because he's a productivity expert. But this one in particular, the 10-minute rule, really stuck out to me. And I guarantee if you apply the next 5 minutes into your life, you won't be binging on Netflix or over-scrolling on social media. This will help you stay on tasks. So give it a shot, and I hope you enjoy this clip.
So one technique that I use almost daily is called the 10-minute rule. And the 10-minute rule says that you can give in to any distraction, okay? Whether it's scrolling your news feed, whether it's eating that piece of chocolate cake, whether it's smoking that cigarette, whatever the case might be, whatever it is that, that distraction that takes you off track, that's you doing something that you yourself do not want to do, you can give into that distraction, but not right now. Okay, you can give into it in 10 minutes. So many times what I do is I just take out my phone and I set a timer for 10 minutes. I'll say, set a timer for 10 minutes. I'll put it down. And my job is to just surf the urge. Surfing the urge is this term that recognizes that internal triggers, these uncomfortable emotional states, they're like waves, right? They crest and then they subside, even though it doesn't feel like that. When we are feeling loneliness or stress or anxiety or boredom, it feels like we're always going to feel that way. But of course, that's never the case. These uncomfortable emotional states are waves, and we need to ride those emotional waves like surfers on a surfboard. So what you do is you just set a timer for 10 minutes and says, okay, I can give into that distraction, but not right now, in 10 minutes. And all I do for those 10 minutes is to get curious about that sensation, not contemptuous. Okay, this is a really important point. Most people, when they feel the distraction, when they feel the temptation of checking email when they want to work on a big project, or that temptation to eat that chocolate cake or smoke the cigarette, or whatever the case might be, whatever that distraction is, they beat themselves up, right? They get contemptuous. Oh, I'm weak, I'm this, I'm that. We have this internal dialogue that we beat each other up like we're our own worst enemies, like we're our own bullies. And that only makes things worse. Why? Because the more we beat ourselves up, the more shame we feel, the worse we feel, and the more likely we are to seek emotional escape with, guess what? More distraction. So we don't want to beat ourselves up. We don't want to be what we call shamers. We don't want to be blamers. Blamers, they don't blame themselves. They blame things outside of themselves, right? They say, oh, it's the technology. It's Donald Trump. It's what's happening in the news. It's this, it's that. It's everything outside themselves. Those are blamers. But of course, that's futile because you can't change those things, right? The distraction has always been with the human species. Plato talked about this problem 2,500 years ago. This is not a new problem. So blaming the world around you is not the solution. Shaming yourself is not the solution. You don't want to be a blamer or a shamer. You want to be what's called a claimer. A claimer claims responsibility not for how they feel. Okay, this is really important. You do not control your feelings. Many people don't understand this. You are not responsible for your urges. You are only responsible for how you respond to those urges, hence the term responsibility. So if you think about it, it's like asking someone to control the urge to sneeze. You cannot control the urge. You already have the urge. What you can do is what you decide to do with that urge. Are you going to sneeze all over everyone and get them sick, or do you take out a tissue and cover your face, right? That's the responsible thing to do. It's about how you respond to those urges. So you may feel stressed, anxious, lonely, bored, fatigued. Of course you will. And you can't try and fight that urge. What you can do is to decide how you will respond to that urge by claiming responsibility for it. Now, one thought is to say, well, just abstain, okay? Go on a digital detox, right? Just stop doing that thing. And that doesn't work. And the reason it tends not to work, the reason strict abstinence doesn't work, it's almost like when you pull on a rubber band, okay? If you tell yourself, don't do something, right? You pull on it, you pull on the rubber band, pull. Eventually you can't pull anymore. What happens when you release it? It doesn't just stop where you pulled it from. No, it ricochets across the room. This is actually what modern science is discovering makes cigarettes so addictive. It's actually not the nicotine, okay? What it actually is this cycle of ruminating around, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't, okay, fine, I'll do it. And when you give in to that temptation, it feels good to not have the temptation anymore. It's not the nicotine itself. The nicotine itself, turns out, the nicotine withdrawals go out of the body in about 3 hours. You metabolize nicotine in about 3 hours. So every smoker, every night, they experience withdrawal, right? What really makes cigarettes so addictive, as any other addiction as well, is this rumination around how you can't have something. And that rumination makes you want it more. So as opposed to telling yourself no, tell yourself not yet. Not yet. I can give in to that temptation. I can allow myself to get distracted, but not right now, in 10 minutes, right? Anybody can hold off on checking Facebook for just 10 minutes. And what you'll find is that over time, you begin to build that muscle. You begin to get better and better at this skill. And you say, wait a minute, I did it for 10 minutes. Let me try 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Problem solved.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you took something tangible away from it. It's a clip from our full podcast and conversation. And if you want to listen to that, click here. And if you really liked the content and you want to subscribe for more, click here. Thanks again for listening. See you guys in the next one.